So if you're looking to get rich, the way to do it is not by spending all your money. Okay guys, welcome back to the channel. I'm Belle. In this video, we will be discussing money habits that are leaving you broke, that are keeping you broke, that are keeping you destitute, that are keeping you from accomplishing your goals, a fire, whatever it is that you may be trying to do. Before we jump into the video, if you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button and be sure to join on to the family. And do not forget to hit that like button to let YouTube know that you like what it is that I'm doing here. And obviously to get this out to more people and viewers like yourself. So let's start with number one, keeping up with the Jones. You know it, it's everyone's favorite. Keeping up with the Jones will leave you absolutely broke. Don't bother, don't do it. I don't advise it, I don't recommend, but you know, folks are gonna do what they wanna do anyways. But I, myself, do not recommend you do that. So like I said, number one, keeping up with the Jones. Keeping up with social media. Trying to keep up with social media. Trying to keep up with people from church, or people from school, or people from your job. No matter who you're trying to keep up with, it's a recipe for disaster. Anytime you're trying to keep up with folks, it causes you to overspend. What I do in my life to reduce that, because it happens to everyone, as you're scrolling through social media, whether it's Instagram, TikTok, especially TikTok, you see so much that other people are doing, whether it's traveling or buying things. You have to understand, this is what I tell myself, and I'm gonna tell you guys the same thing. I'm gonna talk to y'all like I talk to myself, because I say, Belle, our bank account's not set up like that. Okay, I say that, but I'm not gonna say that to y'all. But I just nicely remind myself that my path, my journey, my road is not the same as the other person. And I don't compare myself, and I leave it alone. That's it, that's it. I have been reading this book by Mel Robbins called The 5-Second Rule, right? In this book, it just talks about how to trick your mind into taking action. And you can use that same 5-second rule to trick your mind to move on, not to think about you need to spend that or whatever the case may be. So if you see something, you feel some kind of way, and you're like, man, I really want that, count backwards from 5, and before you know it, you forgot what it is that you really wanted. So moving on. Number two, not having a budget. It's as simple as that. If you don't have a budget, you don't know where your money's coming, going, leaving, spending, swiping, buying. You don't know where your money is going and coming. It will cause you to overspend. It will cause you to be broke. And that's not what we're trying to do. You know what I'm saying? This year is not the year of brokenness. It's the year of richness. All right? We are praying for that. And we thank God for that in advance. Okay. So you need a budget. I recommend the 50-30-20 budget. It's really simple, beginner's budget, because you easily just break things up in those 3 categories. 50%, that's for your needs, like your household. You can't, you need somewhere to live, goes in that category. 50% of your bills goes there. 30% goes on your wants and like hanging out, entertainment, and stuff like that. And then 20% of your income goes for savings and paying down debt. That's it. That's how simple the 50-30-20 budget is. Some people suggest to have 3 checking accounts for those kind of budgets to keep it separate. Let me know down below if you would like me to do a video on different kind of budgets and should one have multiple bank accounts or not. Moving on to number 3, not getting a handle on your spending using credit. Over leveraging credit cards will have you poor, period. Spending tomorrow's dollar today is not a good recipe for a financially sound future. So credit cards, while they could be really good if used wisely, are also a trap if you're someone who's getting used to money or just getting your money journey life together. I do not recommend credit cards when you're trying to get yourself out of a mess. And especially when you're trying to build a healthy financial future. If you're someone that's already in debt, don't use more debt. I know you're probably saying, hey Belle, how am I supposed to get past? How am I supposed to get through to the next week when things are so expensive? And this is how I manage. I completely understand and I hear you, but you need to have a serious talk with yourself and go back to the budget part we just talked about. Do you have a budget? Can you honestly afford the things that you're doing? Those are all really tough questions that you need to ask yourself and answer them honestly, because then you will realize, okay, I don't need to use as much credit cards. And you also can start small. This isn't the Dave Ramsey, extremely bullish approach on managing your finances. While it does work, Like, I'm not gonna front that it doesn't, but it doesn't work for everyone. So you can start small. Instead of spending $200 a week on your credit card, you cut back to $100, and then you cut back to $50, and then you cut back to $0. Okay, baby steps will take you everywhere you need to go. So you're probably saying that, okay, so how am I supposed to get to next week? You can go back to your budget, the 50, 30, 20. Readjust things for it to make sense for you, so you can reduce the amount of credit cards you use. 1. And 2, if you feel as though, okay, there's so much I can reduce, whether it's my housing, my car, stop drinking lattes, whatever the case may be, right? The next thing I will highly recommend is starting a side hustle. Side hustles are a great way to bring in extra income, and everyone has them nowadays. Like, everyone. It's becoming the norm. I think side hustles are becoming what back in the day was second jobs, essentially. But the difference is these are a more flexible, in and out, versus a second job. Folks tend to I have a second job. And a side hustle is I do a side hustle, and you could do a side hustle today and then you could not do it tomorrow. So yeah, I guess that's the difference with that. Okay, so those are some things that you can do to assist with reducing your credit card usage, in addition to paying down your credit cards. So that would really, really help. I'm working on a ton of different side hustles for you guys. I'm so excited with the videos that I'm about to bring you guys on side hustles. Some things that you've never heard of, maybe, but you never heard them from me. So yes, you've never heard of them. So we have some really good side hustle videos coming up. So be sure to turn on your post notifications, subscribe to the channel, and like this video. Don't forget to share with your friends, because we all need to learn what poor money habits are, so then we can get good ones, right? Not setting money aside for emergencies, which once again goes back to your budget. So if you're using the 50, 30, 20 budget, you will have 20% set aside monthly for savings, such as emergencies or just savings for a vacation, whatever the case may be. You will have that money set aside. A really poor money habit you can have is not thinking of the future, not putting things aside for emergencies, in case you get a flat tire, in case anything happens, a job loss, sick family member or child, whatever the case may be. You should always try to think of the future, because it's happening. We like to live in the present moment and be like, YOLO this, YOLO that. I don't know if people still use that, but it is really important as you embark on your financial journey to think about emergencies, because they will happen always. So I highly recommend you come up with a number that makes sense to you and put that aside every single week or bi-weekly or monthly, whenever it is you get paid, so you can have that money when you have an emergency. Okay? So, number 5. Not saving for the future. Last year, I was younger than I was this year. And next year is gonna keep going, God willing, right? So as I get older, I will be approaching retirement age. And if I am not saving for retirement today, where will I be tomorrow? That's a poor money habit a lot of us are going through. I know it's really difficult to do, because you're like, okay, I'm 22 right now. Who cares about my 34-year-old self or 64-year-old self? I may not be alive. Yes, or you may live to 115. Who knows? The point is, you have to think of these things, and that is a poor money habit you do not want to form, is not saving for your future self. Think about your future self and how happy you're gonna make yourself in the future that you save that dollar instead of spending it. Now you probably think, okay, whatever, saving $1, what does that mean anyways? Well, saving $1 and compound interest, it's like they said, compound interest is like the 8th wonder of the world. It's magical. So if you save $1 today when you are 22, that same dollar is not going to be $1 when you're 65. So you may say it's so small. It doesn't matter. but it does. Time in the market is better than timing the market. So the sooner you get started with saving for your future self, the better you will be. Your next question is probably like, okay, Belle, great. I'm gonna start saving, but how? I got you. There's many different vehicles of saving, and I will be filming a thorough video on exactly the route I'm taking for my future retirement, how I plan on doing it. You guys can take a look to see if that makes sense for you, but make sure you do your due diligence. So we talked about a few things in today's video, and just to recap, do not try to keep up with the Jones. You're wasting your time, seriously. Plus, you're making yourself feel bad, which you don't need to. You know, be you. You're not saving for your future self. That's a money habit that we're gonna fix this year. Make sure you save for your future self, okay? Overspending. We're not doing that anymore. That impulsive spending just to spend. Oh, I want it. I have it. You have to put a cap in it. We need to simmer it down and learn to have self-control. Because if not, you will be poor, period. Doesn't matter. If you make $1 million a year and you spend $1.2 million, you're broke. So I highly recommend you don't spend more than you make. So slow down on the spending, guys. Over leveraging credit cards, which leads back to more spending. It's one of those really vicious cycles that will have you stressed out for a really long time. Not setting money aside for emergencies. We all have them. You can't avoid them. It is what it is. It's a part of life. Being human on this planet, you will have emergencies. Not having a budget. One of the budgets that we went over is the 50-30-20 budget. It's a really good beginner's budget, and I highly recommend you look into it if you're someone who may be looking into a new budget strategy or don't have a budget at all. All right, so that is all I have in this video. I hope you guys found this resourceful and educational. Please, if you have any questions, be sure to leave them down below. Before I let you go, I have a question for you guys. Do you have any bad money habits that you can share below with us? I'm waiting. I'm kidding. All right, guys. Thank you so much. If you stayed this long and you haven't already, be sure to subscribe to the channel below. Do not forget to give this video a big thumbs up for me to obviously let YouTube know that you like what it is that I'm doing here. Until next time, y'all, take care of yourself, and I will see you in the next video.